TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, tensions between Israel and the Iranian-proxy Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the Gaza Strip have significantly ratcheted up overnight after Israeli security forces apprehended 2 senior terror operatives and in clashes eliminated another. Jerusalem's political leadership signals the Islamic Republic of Iran about Israel's alleged nuclear capabilities after Tehran implements additional steps to draw it closer to nuclear breakout. U.S. Special Envoy and Coordinator for International Energy Affairs Amos Hochstein voices optimism about reaching an agreement between Jerusalem and Beirut vis-à-vis demarcation of the Israel-Lebanon maritime border. IDF, Israel's security agency Shin Bet, and Border Police Special Operations Forces conducted counterterrorism activity throughout the West Bank districts of Judea and Samaria overnight as part of Operation Wavebreaker. During one of the operational activities, a number of Palestinian militants opened fire toward the Israeli forces in the city of Jenin during a mission that culminated in the arrest of 2 senior operatives of the Iranian-proxy Palestinian Islamic Jihad, including Bassam Asadi and his deputy. While no injuries were reported among the Israeli troops, the Islamic Jihad confirmed that one of its operatives was killed. Meanwhile, in Gaza, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, in response to the incarceration of its senior operatives in the West Bank and the death of one of its members, vowed retaliation and raised its operational preparedness to the highest level. Consequently, the Israeli security establishment raised its own level of alert and announced the closure of roads in the Gaza periphery region for concern that Palestinian snipers may try to shoot civilians and fire rockets. Moreover, a train service from the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon to the town of Sderot has been halted, and the Erez border crossing, which is the only passageway between Gaza and Israel, has been closed. Turning to Jerusalem, where Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid addressed a ceremony yesterday marking the appointment of the new Israel Atomic Energy Commission director, and used the opportunity to signal the Islamic Republic of Iran about Israel's capabilities, including those which are maintained under ambiguity.
הזירה המבצעית בכיפה השקופה מעלינו בנויה מיכולות של הגנה ויכולות של התקפה, ומה שנהוג לכנות בתקשורת הזרה יכולות אחרות. והיכולות האחרות האלה שומרות עלינו בחיים וישמרו עלינו בחיים, כל עוד אנחנו וילדינו פה.
Alternate Premier Naftali Bennett, for his part, also alluded to Jerusalem's enhanced preparedness to contend with a nuclear-armed Iran, highlighting vast resources that were poured into the development of Israel's strategic capabilities.
לפני שנה קיבלנו שורת החלטות שמטרתן לחדד את ההיערכות בצד שלנו להתמודדות עם הגרעין האיראני. הקצינו משאבים אדירים לסגור פערים שהדירו שינה מעיניי. האיראנים מתקדמים, כפי שראינו גם הבוקר, אבל המערכת הישראלית עובדת בשנה האחרונה בכל הכוח. אני מבקש מכם ויודע שאתם תמשיכו לעבוד בלי קשר לטלטלות הפוליטיות במדינה. העתיד שלנו והביטחון שלנו לדורות תלוי בעבודה שלכם.
Addressing the exclusive fora, incoming director of Israel's Energy Commission, Brigadier General in Reserve Moshe Edri, voiced a sense of mission to ensure the future of the Jewish state.
שליחות היא דרך חיים, מעשה בעל משמעות גדולה, שמקורו באמונה פנימית ולא בציפייה לרווח אישי. היום ניתנה לי שוב ההזדמנות על ידי ראש הממשלה, במשמרת מאוד מיוחדת, להמשיך בדרך השליחות ולהוביל בשנים הקרובות ארגון חשוב וייחודי, את הוועדה לאנרגיה אטומית ומרכזיה. ובכך להמשיך להיות שותף לקבוצה גדולה של אנשים הערבים לביטחונה, חוסנה ועתידה של מדינת ישראל.
It is important to mention that the mere insinuation of Israel's strategic capabilities by Jerusalem's political leadership is frowned upon by Israel's defense establishment. Moreover, in conversations with TV7, former key officials in Israel's atomic energy complex responded with criticism to what they consider an unwise choice of words and context. Nevertheless, it is equally important to know that the remarks by Prime Minister Lapid and alternate Premier Bennett were made several hours after the spokesman of Iran's nuclear energy organization announced the activation of hundreds of advanced centrifuges, which is far beyond any civilian application. Spokesman Behrouz Kamalvandi justified the move by claiming that it abides by the Iranian parliament's strategic action law, which aims to pressure the West to lift its crippling sanctions against the Ayatollah regime and preserves Iran's national interests. And while the Islamic Republic claims to be eager to revitalize the 2015 nuclear agreement with world powers, it is not willing to see it through unless all of its non-nuclear related demands are met.
نزدیک بودن یا دور بودن به توافق مرتبط با تصمیم سیاسی دولت آمریکاست. جمهوری اسلامی ایران حتما به توافق فکر میکنه و علاقمند توافق در آینده نزدیک انجام بشه و شکل بگیره، اما قطعا احساسی عمل نخواهیم کرد و منافع اساسی جمهوری اسلامی ایران و ملت رو مد نظر قرار خواهیم داد.
The latest Iranian nuclear-related advancements were implemented on the very same day when top diplomats of signatory states of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty met in New York City on the margins of the 10th Review Conference at the United Nations. While in subsequent addresses to the World Body's plenum, dignitaries proclaimed their respective countries' commitments to non-proliferation, disarmament, and peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Deep concerns over Iran's nuclear program were repeatedly voiced.
The continued expansion of the Iranian nuclear program is of great concern to us. Iran has no justification for many of its nuclear activities.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, for his part, once again reiterated the Biden administration's deep desire to revive the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the JCPOA, which is the technical term for the nuclear deal that was adopted in 2015 by Iran and the P5+1, which includes the United States, Russia, China, France, Britain, plus Germany.
Getting back to the JCPOA remains the best outcome for the United States, for Iran, for the world. In January, President Biden and the leaders of the other NPT nuclear weapon states, China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, all affirmed the principle that, and I quote, a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought.
While Washington's top diplomats highlighted the Biden administration's sincere pursuit of a diplomatic resolution to Iran's nuclear file, the U.S. Treasury Department announced that it designated another half a dozen entities which, in defiance of U.S. sanctions, facilitated illicit transactions related to Iranian petroleum, as well as petroleum and petrochemical products, key sources of revenue for the Iranian government. In other news, U.S. Special Envoy and Coordinator for International Energy Affairs Amos Hochstein told reporters in Lebanon that he was optimistic about reaching an agreement between Jerusalem and Beirut vis-à-vis demarcation of the Israel-Lebanon maritime border. Hochstein, who is currently in the Lebanese capital, made his statement after relaying Israel's position on the issue with several top Lebanese political officials, including Lebanese President Michel Aoun, Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati, and Lebanese Speaker of Parliament Nabi Berri. Hochstein said after his meeting that progress could be made and that he was looking forward to returning to the region to enact a final arrangement. It is worth mentioning that a sense of progress was already voiced in recent days when U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price voiced cautious optimism.
We have been able to help facilitate some progress, and that continued engagement with both parties is part of an effort to see to it that that momentum continues. And I suspect that he will remain in close touch with both governments going forward.
Jerusalem has long sought a mutually acceptable agreement with Lebanon on maritime delineation, since such an agreement would significantly contribute to the stability of Israel's northern neighbor, which in turn could serve as a contributing factor to preserving quiet along sections of Israel's northern frontier. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. It is essential for us to highlight that TV7 Israel is a donation-based ministry. Therefore, if you're blessed by our productions, please consider making a financial contribution that in turn will enable us to sustain our ongoing operations. Additionally, I would like to continue to encourage you, pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, and for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.